Welcome everybody back to a unique build video, where today we'll be doing dual blades, and we will be doing the Barbarian build. And as you can see, we are using the Azoros dual blades because it fits very well with the double axe. And just the overall theme, the layered armor we'll be using is the bone armor, because to me it just fits the best. And for the moves we'll be doing Demon Flurry Rush, Feral Demon mode, for that extra damage. Slide slash combo, Piercing Bind, because it scales with raw damage, and the Shrouded Volt, aka the counter. Then for the skills, we will have Crit Eye 7, Agitator 5, Heroics 5, Defiance 5, Weakness Exploit 3, Mill of Hellfire 3, Crit Boost 2, Focus 2, Stun Resistance 2, Wirebug Whisper 2, Fortify 1, and the rest is just byproducts of the armor. So then for the weapon, like I said, we're doing the Azoros, mainly because of the high raw damage, the light sharpness, 3 level 2s, and the Rampage slot 2, because it does not need to be a 3 due to the fact that we are not using a element dual blade. Now for the armor, we'll be using Teostra's Helm, and you want to try to get a gem slot upgrade like I did, or something like Agitator or Heroics. Then we will be using Scorn's Chest Piece, Scorn's Gauntlets, Scorn's Waist, and the Dober Greaves. And then for the Talisman, you want Crit Eye 3 with a 2 and a 1 gem slot at the very least, because you want as many 2s and 1s as possible in this build, mainly because you want Defiance, Heroics, and Agitator, as well as obviously Crit Eye. Now I'm going to explain where I got the theme from and the idea and why I thought it would be a good idea. So I'm a pretty big Diablo 3 fan, and my wife has been doing D&D for quite some time. So dual blades kind of just fit that best, because you know, the dual axes, basically. And then for these skills, the reason we decided not to go with attack boost and we went with Heroics and Agitator, as well as also going with Defiance, is that when a Barbarian gets really close to death, they tend to do more damage, possibly even have more defense, which Heroics makes sense for that at 4 levels now. But the 5th level will give you no defense, but it will give you a 30% damage increase, which is a lot. Now, something I will say is this build is not meant to be used against anomaly monsters like you see me doing now, for the reason of Blood Blight. Blood Blight is actually counteractive to this build because you get health back, and you don't want that. You want to actually stay at low health for as long as you're comfortable. So I guess it really depends on how often you want to stay at low health, but that is kind of the point of the build. Now, Defiance and Agitator are kind of, two sides of a different coin. They both activate under the same conditions, but do two completely different things. Agitator will give you more damage and more affinity when a monster is enraged, which to me fits the Barbarian idea very well, just as Defiance does as well. It ignores screams when a monster is enraged, and will give you 30 defense at level 5, as well as ignoring some other things such as wind pressure and I believe tremors. Now for the augmentations you want to go for, you typically want to go for either Agitator or Heroics. I mainly just kept trying to go for Agitator. Heroics was not really hard to get. And Crit Eye will all be in your Talisman and in your headpiece. As long as you get the augments that I did, you will literally have 7 levels of Crit Eye with literally just the headpiece, the gem slot that comes with the headpiece if you get the upgrade, and if you have a similar talisman to mine, which is really good. And you'll also have, naturally 2 levels of crit boost as well throughout your armor piece. So really, the only thing that could be better about this build is if it had Crit Eye 3 instead of 2. But I felt like prioritizing Heroics, Agitator, and all the other damaging things fit the theme more, because these builds are not about being efficient, they're about being fun and serving a certain purpose and theme. Alright, and for some tips and tricks with this build, for Dongo, the first Dongo you want to eat is for Moxie, because Moxie will also increase your damage at low percentages, and also will prevent you from fainting one time when you meet a certain threshold. And you've noticed throughout some of my clips, I'll have like 2 arrows on my health bar. That is Moxie right there. You know, it's very, very nice. And if you want, eat for booster for that extra damage. And if you're not comfortable with staying at low health the entire time, then do Defender High specifically for people who are not comfortable. I wasn't, so I always ate for it. So if you're not super confident playing, you know, with heroics, because I really never do, then you should definitely do that. Things not to do is do not eat gourmet fish, or do not try for the skill recovery speed. Those are really bad, and recovery up, because again, you want to do as least amount of healing as possible, unless you know that you are literally about to die and there's nothing you can do but heal. But in my opinion, that should never be the case, because if you are able to heal, you should be able to counter, unless you do not have a wire bug. But if you manage your wire bug efficiently, then you should be fine. But I think that's really it. There's not a lot of tips and tricks with this, honestly. It's a pretty, I wouldn't say bland build, it's very standard. You know, not too crazy or anything like that, you know, doesn't really require too much. It's not like my Death Knight build where you really need to be careful. You need to always be healing because you're always going to be losing health. But otherwise, that is it. I will leave you with this gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.
Hmm?